Okay, so for my place-based lesson, I named it Community Map, and I did it for third grade. And I had two social studies standards. I had G3.3.1, Geography, Place and Institutions and Community, and then G3 3.1, Geography, Places, Institutions, and Physical Features. And then I added the math standard, which was 3MD7, Measure Areas by Counting Unit Squares. And then my lesson objectives were create a map that includes titles, symbols, a compass rose, grid system, measurement and scale, observe and explore and compare human and physical characteristics of your community, describe human characteristics of your community with another community or like a table partner. And then I'll just kind of go through the lesson. So at the beginning, just to like activate prior knowledge for the students, was to just ask them, have you ever been trying to get somewhere and you weren't sure how? What do you think would help during a time like that? If you can think of a trip you've gone on, just kind of imagine that trip, what was kind of around you during that, what were you kind of creating in your head? And then just having students just kind of think on that and then giving them a map of the school. So I just kind of created like a fake school for this lesson, but then if I had an actual building, I would probably go off of that. And then students would be given 2 routes that they had to take. Then there's all the expectations on the map that is below. But students would be given 10 minutes to go and find the star on the map, and they'd be having to use like the landmarks, understand the scale and the grid of it and everything on the map. And they get like a little prize at the end. And then once everyone comes back, they'll just kind of be discussing what they looked at on the map, what certain things kind of help them understand where to go. And then we would all kind of come together and we'd have a couple students share. And then I split this up into 3 days, but I really don't think it would take that long if I had an actual classroom. I just kind of space it out this way so students would have enough time if needed. But for the first day, we would just kind of talk about like the overall ideas of what we wanted to teach them. So what a community is, talk about the town or the neighborhood that they live in, talk about the land features that they see, kind of compare land features maybe from a state that they used to live in to where they live now, or maybe one person knows to turn right at a neighborhood tree and one person in their neighborhood knows how to turn left, and those are just kind of like physical features of it. And then kind of talking about like perimeter and area and scale, so knowing that like on the map that I gave them, they understood that 1 square meant 3 steps to take, so understanding that like how to make something within scale and how to represent that in a way. And then I said day 2 for this, but then on that day 2, students would be asked to pull back out the map of the school that I gave them, just kind of recall back on the discussion that they had about being able to picture a place in your mind. And then students will be asked to create a map of their own using scales, units, legends, and they're all actually in the rubric that they have to include all of those certain things and like a certain amount of land features on their map. But students will be given a certain amount of time for that, making sure that they're using the right scale and everything. And then at the end of the class, I did this for the end of this class and the beginning of the next class the next day. So kind of as a like formative assessment for me to make sure that students were understanding everything, but also so students could kind of hear from their partners and make sure that they were understanding everything as well, and maybe getting ideas of how to draw certain things if they were kind of stuck on that. So they'd have the last 5 minutes of that day 2, and then at the beginning of the 5 minutes, just kind of wrap everything up. All of their maps have to be done by that day. And then they'd also have the opportunity to share with their partner. This is kind of where I think the summative assessment is, because after they're sharing with their partners, they're going to hand their partner their map, and their partner's just going to have their map, and with their words, they're going to have to guide their partner around their map to get to a specific spot. So their map has to be like clear. They have to understand all the land features. It has to be organized. All that's in the rubric, but I think it's kind of like a fun way for them to see if their map was useful. And then their partner will actually take their map, and there's an exit ticket at the bottom. One thing you learned from your partner, one thing your partner could have improved, and one thing your partner did well. The student that tried to get around the map would fill that out for their partners. And then there is that rubric, like I said, so students would kind of know what to expect out of their map. But then there is also a Kahoot with all the vocab stuff that we learned the first day, just kind of like a final little ending thing for all of them. And then for the skills, I said that students should have the skills to look at a map and understand their position in relation to the map, as well as the route that they're going to be taking. And then students should also be able to create a map well enough for someone that is looking at the map for the first time to understand how to get to their specific location. And then I said that I think place plays a significant role in my lesson, just because even though they were all choosing their different places, they have to kind of take into account their surroundings. They need to take in their land features, just the different community characteristics that everyone has within their community, and just how important those are, especially within a map. And then after creating this lesson, I think I have a better understanding of how to include different content areas. That was kind of something that I was nervous about before this semester in this class, but this lesson actually really helped me figure out how to incorporate those different subject areas within one. So it's just really helpful to continue getting that practice in it.